Space Black, Neptune Blue, and Moonlight White are the three eye-catching colors of the Redmi Note 8. The unit we have here with us is in the Moonlight White colorway, and it's absolute eye candy with its soft gradient hue. It comes protected with Corning Gorilla Glass 5, both up front and the rear, allowing the device to feel quite premium case in the box. Overall, with its glass construction, the Note 8 feels sturdy and robust when held. At the back, the Redmi Note 8 is equipped with a quad camera setup arranged vertically, with the camera module protruding quite a bit from the smartphone's body. So we do get some wobble here when the device is nude and laid flat. Also found here is a classic rear-mounted fingerprint scanner, more on that later. In front, slim bezels surround the 6.3-inch display, though they aren't the slimmest, and there's a dot drop notch on top that houses the front camera. An LED notification light is also located right next to the selfie shooter on its left, slightly wider than the which we aren't particularly fans of. On the right sits the power button and the volume rocker. The placement is rather easy to reach and they're quite clicky as well. The dual SIM tray slot and dedicated micro SD card slot are situated on the left. Up top, we can find the noise cancelling mic and situated at the bottom is a single downward firing speaker, a USB Type-C port, a noise cancelling mic for regular calls, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. For display, the Note 8 sports a 6. While the colors aren't as striking and punchy as we hoped they would be, the panel does offer crisp detail and sharpness. At 50% brightness, it's also pretty usable under direct sunlight. It might not be enough for others, however. As for the audio, the single downward firing speaker can get loud, but we don't recommend you guys setting it to maximum as there is some sort of distortion at peak volume. Lows are non-existent, mids are present, and highs sound tinny and unpleasant to the ears. We do still get Android 9 Pie skinned with Xiaomi's party launchers like Nova Launcher. Users should also be glad to know that we get a system-wide dark mode, which does look pretty good in our opinion. Qualcomm Snapdragon 665 chipset paired with an Adreno 610 GPU. The Note 8 has two RAM variants, that's 3 and 4 gigs, with our unit here having the latter. We ran it through our usual benchmarks, and for those of you interested, having them flash on screen, the Note 8. Sometimes though, switching between apps too fast can cause the phone to freeze a bit. When it does lag, it also takes a couple of seconds before the device recovers from it. For gaming, we tested out Mobile Legends. Frame drops and lags were noticeable and persistent, so we weren't really fans of that. For biometric security, the Redmi Note 8 gets finger and face unlock. Like I mentioned earlier, for the fingerprint sensor, we get a rear-mounted one, and it's pretty fast, but it isn't the fastest, sadly. I've had faster scanners, even in-display optical ones, that are faster than this rear-mounted one, and a 4000 mAh cell gives life to the Note 8. We subjected it to our standard video loop test, and the Note 8 yielded us a pretty good 13 hours and 42 minutes of playback. The Note 8 comes with 18-watt fast charge the device. Moving the cameras now, stationed on the rear of the Note 8 is a quad camera setup consisting of a 48-megapixel primary sensor, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide, a 2-megapixel macro, and a 2-megapixel depth sensor. Residing in the dot drop notch up front, colors produced are not quite true to life because of the boosted saturation, but it's not an issue, and it's not the oversaturation that comes from a Realme device or an Oppo device when the chroma boost is turned on. The Note 8 offers an option to correct the distortion, resulting in photos that lessen the fisheye effect. The colors do appear to be darker, and details look over-sharpened compared to the primary lens. For the macro sensor, it's pretty good. We here in the office can definitely appreciate this gimmicky sensor. With ample lighting and a little creative intuition, users should be able to have fun with this lens. For night devices night mode titles, the Redmi Note 8 has 3 configurations. We get a 3 plus 32 gig variant priced at 7,990 pesos, a 4 plus 64 at 8,990 pesos, and lastly a 4 plus 128 at 9,990 pesos. There are several devices in the same price range as the Redmi Note 8. Despite the few cons we've had with it, this has been Miguel, and I'll see ya in the next one.